purpose of these two objects, guys. Okay. So in the, I mean, so do you have any doubt on 32 and 33 line number?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So the 32 line number is going to help you if you want to write something to the response object. So that with that you can do. And the 33 line number, what kind of data you are planning to send back to the client from the server. So that content type you can mention here. There are different content type. So text slash HTML. If you want to send that HTML along with some data, so then you can say it is text slash HTML. Or else if you want to send the Excel data, or else if you want to send PDF file, or you want to send image, like you have the different content types, guys. So even you can go and search in a Google, and you can understand what are the different content types. Okay. So because whenever you send a request, you are trying to access some resource. If you want to get the image, or if you want to get PDF file, if you want to get Excel file, so like there will be a different requirements, purposes are there. So by the time, what kind of data, I mean, this servlet, this service method is not I mean giving any file and all. It is giving simple text HTML, which gives that all the data, I mean cities data, all the list of cities. Okay. So then change it to the content type to text slash HTML. You guys understand the purpose of the setting the set content type. So to whom we are setting this information, for the request object or response object? We are setting the set content type, right? To whom we are setting, request or response?
Request. Response.
Hmm? Are you listening me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
What? Oh,
sir.
someone explain me what I explained now about the content type.
Set content type.
So what is the purpose of that? No, where it help her? So by setting that content type to text or HTML application something. So what is the purpose of that? Who is going to use that?
Which type of response we are going to get?
Which type of data shown in the browser is represented?
Yes. So with this value only, I mean the server send the response to the client. That means browser. As soon as the browser receive that, it will look into this content type. Okay. So based on the content type, the browser will represent that information. If the content type is text as HTML, it will directly render in the browser. If it is an application slash PDF, it will think, okay, I got a response as a PDF file, not a text. Then I have to download. I have to render the PDF file. That's what it will do. You guys are getting me? Okay. So like that, this content type, if you can go and see in the browser, just to open some browser and try to access that. Go to I mean, go to the browser, Renika. I mean, try to access that URL. I think you already started the server, right?
No, sir.
Okay. If it is not started, just start the server and try to access that list. I mean, city list service. I mean, that localhost 8080 slash project and the path, right? Because whatever I am explaining you guys, this is common for each and every request and response. I mean, this is common flow and common things. So which we will discuss only once, and remaining, I mean, whenever as long as you are there, like developing different servlets, the concept will be the same. only the logic behind the main business purpose of that servlet and all, that code will be different. But the other things like, request, response, formats, and I mean, what are the parameters, common things we have? So those are all same. That's what we are trying to understand for one servlet. 1 minute, 1 minute. So now what you did, you try to access one, you try to request one resource. Like, in the server, in a web apps folder, your project is there. What is your project name?
Code stream.
What is your
Code
project
stream, sir.
name? Code stream.
Stream.
So it is deployed a code stream directory in our server. Am I right? So that server holds different resources. So one HTML is one resource, like servlet is one resource. If we keep any image, that will be a resource. If we keep any video, that will be a resource. Like, whatever the things you will keep at a server level in web apps, I mean project folder under that web apps. So we can call those as a resources. Are you getting me? Now, which resource we are trying to access now? Country.html. So this is the one you try to access the first time, right? So to access that HTML, you are not using any path and all. I mean, you are using the path directly, the file name, right? After the project folder, you are using the file name. If you look at that then address bar, so you are using after project name, what you are using? Directly the file name, country.html, right? So how do you access all HTML files? Directly use the file name, then directly you will try to get it. Now go and check in the network tab. I mean, go to the network tab, press F12. Hmm. Again refresh it. I mean, resend the request so that you can see the request. Yeah. So we are trying to request. I mean, check that, and request went, and you got the response successfully, right? So click on country.html. Yes. Okay. Headers. Go to the headers. Click on headers. Yeah. Look at that. The general information. This is all the request, guys. I mean, request and the response headers actually. So request things. If you see that, what URL you requested? Yeah,
Country.html.
that is what the correct, right? You know that IP address and port number, project name, and all. You are trying to access country.html resource. Now, and you are and come to the response request headers. Request headers. Come down. So there are request and response headers. Headers is the main important. I mean, along with, I mean, while sending the request and getting the response. So you can see that you are sending, you are saying, but you are not manually adding anything. The browser by default, the moment when you send a request, it is adding these all the headers. It is saying that I will accept. It's kind of language, guys. Don't think too much here. I mean, complex, nothing complex here. So what we are sending in the request, I mean, the browser is telling to the server, I mean, as a input, accept attributes tells that, okay, hey, I can accept these, all these kind of, when whatever the value you gave to the accept attribute, I mean accept header. So that means the server will understand, okay, I will act the okay, this browser, I mean the client will accept all these kind of things. Okay, so how many values it added to the accept attribute? Only one or multiple?
Multiple values, sir.
Multiple. So one is text as HTML,
Application
application.xhtml plus application
ML,
as
XML.
like images slash ABF, images of web, images of APNG. So like star slash star means anything I will accept. What is meaning of star slash star? I will accept anything. Okay. So that is the meaning generally. Okay. So it is telling. or you want to send the request header, okay, you will accept only this, still you can set it. Okay, but it is a default browser, it is adding this. But here, so if you are especially you are trying to access any other resource, I mean servlet and all, that moment if you want to send a request, and that thing you can be done. But try to understand what is the browser is trying to say. I will accept everything. It is saying if you don't want to accept some other resources on your request, then still you can change this accepted header, guys. Okay, by default it is saying. And like you know, this is how it is working. And go to that response header. Response, yeah. So in the response header, what is the content type? What is the content type you see there?
Text slash HTML.
Yes. So what this this value is coming from the server, because whatever the I mean it is by default it is sending. Okay, but manually if you want to change the server level, I mean you can do it. That's what this is the main thing. So the response, what kind of data you got, what type of content type, text plus HTML, and what is the request is can I accept text slash HTML, anything. So
Anything.
based on that value, the browser will decide what to do. Okay, if it is a text slash HTML, I mean the content of text or HTML kind of thing. So okay, then the browser will try to render that the response. What is the response you got? Just go to the response and that response tab after headers. Yeah. So look at this. This code is not at your place. Is it our place deployed in our system or in the server? It is in the server. So we got this entire code from the server, right? I mean, this code was not at your browser level, right? The
Yes, sir.
HTML and HTML and all. Okay, so whatever the response you got, I mean, you are saying that, I mean, you know that the content type is text as HTML. Based on that, it simply it will take the response. If it is text as HTML, it will render it. That's it. Okay. If it is some other thing, it will do. If it is a application slash PDF, okay, it will try to open in a PDF file. Okay, so we tried it yesterday, right? When you try to open it, it is saying that it cannot render because the response is not like exactly PDF content, right? Got the clarity?
Sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now just go back to clear this. I mean, clear in the sense means here. Uh, I mean, let's keep it that header thing. I mean, the network tab. Okay, click on get data. Look at that. The status is showing pending, and now we got the 200 status. That means you got. Okay. I think yesterday you change. I mean, now go to the now. This is the correct thing. Now go to that headers. Click on that list. I mean, list path is there, right? Click on that. I mean, network tab. You already opened, right? Yeah. So you got a response failed to load PDF document. What is the message you got? Error page. The browser is trying to do what? It is trying to open in a PDF. Okay. The reason, what is the content type you got in response?
Yes, sir. PDF.
Hmm? Application slash PDF.
PDF.
And go to the response. I mean, content type is application slash PDF, and go to the response. I mean, response. Yeah. Yeah. So, and click on preview. I mean, you will get clear information instead of response. Response and preview are both are same. but it preview will show you clearly. You got the same thing? Okay. So this information we are getting. Okay. So this is not exactly a PDF. So that is what the issue. Okay. That is what the issue. That is the reason it is not trying. But actually, what we are trying to send from backend, guys, not PDF data, right? We are trying to send the normal text or HTML kind of data. Am I right?
Sir.
So go and change it because yesterday, do you remember yesterday we changed that set content type application slash PDF. Okay.
Yes.
Now just revert to text slash HTML. Now you guys understand the purpose of content type?
Yes, sir. Understood, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, come down, Renika. Yeah. So you just changed it, right? And the 34 line number, what we are trying to do, because whatever the response we want to send in a HTML. That's the reason we are just creating normal HTML tags and adding those tags to that println method. This println method, whatever the data you gave, whatever the data you gave, so that will be written to the response object. That's it, guys. Okay, the same thing will get sent back to the client. And other thing, a request not get parameter of country. Okay, so so from request, I told you that the moment when you send a request to the server create the request object and response object, and it keeps all the request information in request object. So you already send a request, you already send the country code, right, from front end. I mean from application browser, right? So you already selected country code and you send. So where that country code, you have to get that country code because based on that you have to fetch the data from the DB, right? Now to get that country code, because we send as a parameters, so right, so that parameter, uh, so how do you get that value means, so if you whenever you are sending the value you will use parameter name and value. So if you go and see that browser, just go to the browser, uh, uh, Renika. Yeah, and click on that, I mean select some country and click on the get data, and right side list question mark country equal to RUS, you can see, right? Okay, click on that. So in headers, if you see that, click on headers. If you see that URL, so what is the exact URL path? Till slash list. That is that. And after that, we are sending a parameters, request parameters, uh, in a two ways. Okay. I mean, we can append to URL and send those values or in a request payload. Okay. Um, Renika, if you see that question after slash list, there is a question mark. After that, there is a country equal to RUS. What is the meaning? That is, we can call it as a request parameter. What, that is the key. Parameter name is country and value is RUS. Okay. Okay, you are sending this request information, I mean country information to input. The what is meaning of that? So backend code should use this country value to fetch that list, city list to specific country. Okay, so because the user requested, okay, I selected Russia. Okay, I need the Russia. So that input should know the server. To know the server, so we need to send that value. So in some way, so how we are sending? in the request parameters, we can call it this, by appending to the URL we are sending. Okay. So suppose if you don't want to append to the URL, but still you want to send, then, but if you append to the URL, user will see that in a browser itself, right? So if you don't want to send append to the URL, you have to change the request method. If you see the second parameter, what is the second parameter? I mean, second header. Look at that second value. I mean, after request URL, there is a request method is there.
Get, sir.
Get. So
Get.
there are method types, request method types. Okay, there are multiple request methods types are there. Get request, post request, delete request, put request. There are multiple request methods are there. So by default in the browser, if you don't specify anything, by default the what kind of method it is, the get. Okay,
Get.
the in the get type of method, I mean, whenever you are sending any request, method type is get. Then, if you are sending any parameter values, I mean, params, so though all the params will be added to, all the params will be added to, appended to URL only. After the question mark it will append, like, one parameter, you see that country equal to Russia and something, you can again by separating with the and, so it will keep on add that. Okay, so now you guys understand when that params will be added to the browser, I mean, sorry, URL, if the method type is get, then only
Get.
all params will be added to, appended to URL. Okay.
Got it.
So go to your HTML code and check that get data. Go to the HTML code, directly open in the server. Yeah. So get data. Yeah. So what we are trying to do is when you click on get data, as it is a input type is submit, so it will try to trigger that action path. So we, along with that IP address, port number, and project name. So what is the path we mapped? City/list. Okay. So for this form, there is a one attribute called method. So as like, so we have a action attribute, right? So for form, just go and give the space and enter it, Renika. Yeah, method. So method equal to, so you can give here is a get method or post method or delete method or something like that. So by default, if you don't give, what is the method it will read?
Get
Get.
method.
And what is the, mm, 1 second, someone is waiting. Okay, is everyone joined, right? Okay. Okay. So get method. So now, as it is a get method, whatever the input you gave in the select tag, so that input is appending to the URL. Now we change that method to post. Just change it to post method, POST. Okay. Okay, save it and go and access this resource again. Go to this browser and access it. Is there anything problem?
No, sir, I changed it.
Okay, just react. No, not list actually. You try to access that country.html first. Country.html. Yeah. So now you got it, right? And now click on the get data.
Yes, sir.
Did you? No, we don't see anything. Have you done that?
Yes, sir. I done.
Looks like your screen got freezed. We don't see that your operation, whatever you, if you already clicked. I mean, select that. I mean, get data. Now click on that list. No, I think it is getting delayed or something
I already selected,
due
sir.
to some network issue from your side. You did it, but we don't see. Yeah. Now look at that. Is that whatever the selected data, like you selected some country, right? Is it appending to URL now?
No, sir.
But where is the
No.
data gone? So come down. The method type got changed to post. And come
Post.
down, scroll down till end. Look at this form data. So it is appending in the request payload. Are you getting me? Uh, so while so click on view URL encoded. That view after that there is a view URL. I mean inside the tab only. So this is yeah. Yeah, this is what the data is going to send country colon. Yes. So that means that is the difference between get and post, guys. If you are using the get request, I mean, if you are sending some data or some parameters, all these parameters will be appended to URL. And if you are using post method, all this will be in the request payload in the form data. So this is this is how the data will go. I mean, okay. So now you got that. What is the purpose of the get and post method?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now go to the code now. That servlet code.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, so that data, whatever you send, whether it is a request post method or a get method, whatever it is, to fetch that data, to get that data, you can use that is a predefined method called get parameter method by passing the parameter name, whatever the parameter name used at front end, I mean, from application. So that the same name you can use and get that value. So that get request dot get parameter. So you passing the country, right? So if it is the value is already sent by the browser, I mean client, that then that value will be hold into that country variable. Okay. So and coming to the 39 line number, the try and catch, and 40 line number, what we are doing here, 40. So now this still that the concept is related to servlet. Now this is
JDBC.
completely JDBC. Okay.
JDBC.
So what is the next step? We know that for which country we want to get the city, but to fetch that we need to connect the database. To connect the database, you have to write a JDBC program. So that is the code here. So class dot for name, you are giving some driver class name and you are loading, and the second line 41 line number, you are trying to get a connection by passing the URL, username and password. and then you are creating the statement object. With that statement object, you are going to execute your query. So for that, you created the statement object, and then you prepare that query, SQL query, to fetch that all the cities from the by based on the country code. So that is what it is here. Select ID, name, comma country code from city. What is the table name here in this query, SQL query? What is the table name?
What is
Cities.
that table?
City. Hmm?
Yes, sir. City.
Say, table name is city, and the columns are ID, name, country code. So these are all the
Yes.
columns in a that city table, and select all these, like, ID, name, country code from the city table, where country code is one of the column, right, where country code equal to, we are keeping in a single quote, because whatever the value you pass, we will keep it in a, if it is a string value, we will keep it in a single quote, right? So that is the reason single quote started. uh, I mean, the double quote is ended for the string ending. It's a Java related, but single quote is related to query level. Okay. And plus country plus double quotation start again. We are keeping that single quote in the double quotation. Here, the double quotation is, or we are trying to use to, I mean, hold that string values, and dynamically we are appending the variable value, the country, which we already captured from the request. Okay. So now finally what will become? Select ID colon ID comma name comma country code comma from city, where country
City.
code equal to country
Country.
code equal to the country code, whatever you single code, within the single code the country code will be there. So that is what the query will prepare after executing of the 43 line number. So that SQL query you are giving to the input as we are giving to the method called execute query method as a input. Okay, this execute query method we are calling with the help of statement object. Okay, so and then that execute query method is going to give you as a response, because whenever you uh, call this execute query, we use generally the SQL query is the select query. Select query means it may get one record or two record or zero record, many records, right? So there is no guarantee, because it's all depends on the condition and all whatever you added in the SQL query. So now you got the response to the result set object, right? So that result set object you are trying to uh, iterate, like, you got a many records, let's say. So those records you are trying to iterate by using while loop. Okay, we have already the to check that whether the element is or the not there. So we have a method called the next method. So we already know these guys, this code. I don't need to explain again, just for overview. Okay, the next method is going to help us. What is the purpose of the next method? What it does? Can someone tell me? They're calling the execute query. That means the results at dot net, right? Sorry, dot next. So what is that next method? We are calling on the results set object.
Calling next.
Hmm?
Calling next method.
Next method getting the all data, sir, table data.
Guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Okay. So when it got stopped,
which one?
Next
Next
method,
method.
sir. Next method, sir.
okay,
Next.
What's the
what is the
purpose of
purpose of the next method?
getting the data one by one, sir?
Yeah. So the one by one means it will identify that whether record is or not there.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
The next method is going to give true or false. Okay. So the next method will return true if the record is there. By default, it won't point anything. The moment when you first time you call, it will try to move to the first record. If the record is not there, it will return the false. Otherwise, it will return the true. So that means this while loop, we kept that next method calling because so as soon as long as we got a true, it continuously read the data, and once it got false, the while loop will stop, right? So execute query dot get string of ID, get string of name, get string of country code uh, we are using to get all those columns data, right? So once we got the data, we are holding into the variable. That data we are writing to whom? Writer dot println method. So to this println method, we are writing the data, right? So that means println method we are writing to the writer. Writer is already a link to a response object. So this all this data will go to all this data will go to
Response.
response object. Okay, so that is how the while loop is dynamically adding all the city list, name, code, city, ID, name, code. So whatever the values we fetch it from the DB. And the 5711 number again writer dot println, we are closing the tab. That means we are keeping all this information in the table tag and all, and we are keeping that all the dynamic data by, and the HTML closing and body, and then connection closing. After getting the connection, you are closing the connection. So this is what the JDBC code, and we are appending whatever the data we got, we are appending to the writer. A writer is already linked to the response object. So the data will send whatever all the data will be sent back to the client. So this is how the flow will happen. Okay. So now, so in this thing, guys, only uh, I want to implement a feature. Okay, go to the browser. Go to the browser. So far, clear, guys, about this all this code.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So go to the country.html. I mean, just trying to access that. Try to access that. Okay. So you are selecting, you know, uh, the country code, right? Okay. So my requirement is now I need a input box. Okay. I will give at least two characters. Okay. A. I will give A. Okay. So or else at least one character is the input. I will type. Okay. So and then I will click on get data. I don't use this country code now. Or else I will use this country code. Along with that, I will add one more input field. Just add one more input field immediately, Renuka. In the country.html, you know how to add one more input field, right? Hmm. Not the option. If you are adding option, you will get one more option. I am saying new field. It's one more input field. So select is the one is the drop down input type. I want to add the input, but where you have to add that input? You are adding into inside the select tag. Select tag is a different tag, right? You cannot add it. Should you add that in after select tag? Yeah. Input type equal to text. Okay, close that. Close that input tag. You know that, right? How to do that. Yeah. Okay. So now go to that browser and render it. Okay. So you select country and in the input box, go to the input box and you will type something. A. Let's say you typed A. Okay. The moment when you click on get data, my requirement is you should get all the cities. No, you why you click? You have not implemented anything, right? Yeah. So we will select the country and we will give the input text again. So when you click on get data, you should get all the cities which is under selected country and which starts with A only. The city name which starts with A. That means you gave the A. It will you should give only which starts with A. If you give B, it should give B only. So that means it's all based on your input that response should come. That means we are adding another input type, input value. So this input value, whatever the second input value you have, right, which is a text box, whatever the value you have, you should capture that in the backend, and you should return that. You should use that value for the query level, and you should return the value. Oh, the response data. Whenever you executed the query, you will get some data, right? That data only you have to display. That means that data should have that all the cities which is under that country which start with the name A letter. Okay, you are getting my requirement, right? Guys, did you understand my requirement?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
understood, sir.
So let's implement this and show me in tomorrow class. Anybody have any doubt on this requirement clarification?
No, sir.
What
No,
is the
sir.
expected output? I need to get output a cities which starts with a A. That means whatever you enter. If I enter B, I should get only a cities which starts with B. That too selected country only. If you select India, the cities should be displayed only in cities in India which start with A. If you don't give anything and get, you will get all the cities. If you give something in input box A or something, then you should get only this cities which starts with that name. You got the requirement, right? Just try to implement this
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
in the same code, in same code base. Like everybody have the same code base, I think. Okay, so I think you can use it, the same thing, and try to implement it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, okay, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.